Thank you. Welcome all to this meeting of the Town and Community, Tuesday, 23rd of February. Can we quickly go through the apologies for absence? I know that I've got Councillor Isaac could not attend this evening, and also Mr. Mayor, I believe Councillor here is cannot attend. So just those two. Item 2 on the agenda is declarations of interest, to receive any interests relating to the business. Do I see any? No. Okay. Item 3, public participation, to receive questions and comments from members of the public. Town Clerk, do we have anyone who would like to say anything, to join us this evening?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Moving on to the minutes. To approve the minutes of the Town and Community Committee meeting held on Zoom on the 4th of January. These are in your agenda pack. If anybody would like to say anything on this, or if we are just happy to approve the minutes.
Yeah, I'll approve them.
Okay, can I have a seconder? Lovely. And all in favour? Thank you very much. Item 5 is the finances 2021, and this is just to note the management accounts, and you'll find these on pages 6 and 7 of your agenda. Do I have anybody that would like to say anything? Helen.
I'd just like to say that in line with the standing orders and the terms of reference, which will be changing for T&C, because some of the things that we were responsible for have gone now to R&A, some of these things will disappear from ours and move over to theirs, but they'll be in the next pack that we have.
Yeah, okay, lovely. Thank you very much, Helen. Does anybody else want to bring anything up? No, we're happy to note that then. Thank you. Councillor Hamilton.
Item number 6, this is the town. Sorry, can you?
No, we're not on that yet. We're just noting finances. Just coming on to item number 6 now, which is the Town and Community Managers Report. I'll hand you over to Helen. She's done a very detailed report. I don't know if you want to go through it, Helen, or you're happy for people just to read it.
Can I highlight a few things?
I think that would be that would be useful. Yes.
Okay. So in terms of obviously all the COVID guidance, we've been working within the guidelines, and the announcements yesterday have obviously thrown up an awful lot of work for the council to make sure that everybody's ready to come out whilst the roadmap is giving us indicated dates. We just need to put in place all of the things that need to happen within those timescales. Working closely with the Henley Business Partnership to make sure that we go out to all of the traders and the businesses and make sure they have all the information that they need. In terms of the markets, we've done very well. Nikki, to be highly commended with the markets that we've been running. The COVID marshals have said that we are one of the best in South Oxfordshire, and you know, they come every Thursday to double check everybody and that we are conforming to all of the rules and regulations. Same with the farmers markets, and obviously we aren't running any craft markets because we can't at the moment. Henley housekeeping, bins, as you're very aware, the bins have gone off to be refurbished, and we'll be presenting hopefully in time for the next T&C meeting a report on bins and the way forward. Again, with waste, working with the waste providers, OCC and SODC to ensure smooth and efficient service. And the pavement cleaning, which is now the monthly contract, is also being monitored. And we will have 3 meetings a year with those, if not 4. Benches and their maintenance have now moved to R&A. And we are working on a face mask strategy, because we've had issues with people discarding their face masks in the town, and also it's bad for nature. And so with the help of Naomi, our comms officer, we are working very hard to try and persuade everyone in Henley to be very thoughtful. In terms of retail, There's a lot been going on to support our retailers, which perhaps not everybody knows about, so I'll just run through that. We've created a supportive culture. We have regular updates on grants and government guidelines, which I send around. I work very hard with the Economic Development at South Oxfordshire District Council, who are obviously responsible for the grants. We are at the bottom of the food chain, but a lot of people come to us so that we can help them. And we do try to help them if we can. We have COVID-proofed our town in compliance with the government guidelines to ensure the safety of not only our traders, but also our visitors. We had the Town Ranger initiatives, which you're aware of, certainly in the 2 first lockdowns. And then in the second one, when that came out, we will think about what we do exactly for the next one. We had stickers, we've had posters, we've had social media campaigns, we've had social distancing, we've got all the measures in the markets at the moment. We did some new posters very recently, which were to encourage people to wear face masks in the town for their own safety and the safety of others. We've helped the traders during the lockdown with the Henley Basket. We've assisted with deliveries. We have provided advice and guidance. We have also signposted for their help with rates, tax, landlords. We had the Christmas campaign to drive footfall to the retail, but not to drive too much footfall. And we did our campaign online and digitally. We've created a new section on the Visit Henley website, which every time we've closed or reopened, we have updated completely with every trader in the town to also list all of their opening times, those who are open, those who are closed, if somebody is doing a takeaway service, what their rules and regulations are. And each time we've come out and gone back in, we've changed that. We have also held high street recovery meetings, which have been chaired by Sarah. And we will be having another one of those in April to plan how we open our shop safely on the 12th of April. We're just about to undertake a piece of research with a questionnaire going out to all of our retailers about what their needs are and also about who their waste providers are as another piece of work that we're doing. So we're going to tie those two things together. As I said, the markets have been heralded best in South Oxfordshire. And in terms of the vacancy rate, actually we have around 4% vacancy rate in the town before the last lockdown, which is incredible considering what's going on nationally and the amount of national retailers who have had to close. We are blessed because we have lots of independents who we can work with, who are entrepreneurial, who have worked very closely with us to ensure that they've got the best offer possible and that we can all work with each other collaboratively. We have also recently been declared second in the high street rankings. Thank you very much. And also the availability and visibility of the town centre team is often commented on by our retailers, traders and our businesses, because we are there and we're out in the street and we are making sure that they've got stickers and we're making sure that they've got posters. So that's retail and the commercial interest in the town covered. Visitors, again, huge piece of work coming up in terms of marketing campaign for Henley for staycations. I was just listening to Joseph Borlase. We need to help all of the traders, all of the attractions and all of the accommodation and how we come out of this lockdown is going to be make or break for a lot of those people. We'll be updating Visit Henley with lots of information. And we also have a marketing campaign that we're going to put together, which includes new visual images and also social media. It also encompasses work with Tourism South East, with Visit Thames, with all of our attractions, and we'll also be working with GWR and some of our other partners, Great Westway, to ensure that we really are on everybody's map, and also doing a PR campaign with the trade press. We are going to be producing a new Midsummer Murders cycling leaflet, which is going to become available in March, which will be launched very shortly after the 12th of April. And in terms of events, we've got a meeting which is planned for the 12th of March to go through events and also the Christmas lights, which will come back to this committee. I won't run through those all because you can see those. And then the last section is just a little bit more about the changes in portfolio, just to ensure that you all know what's gone and what's come.
Helen, I just want to, I'll just come to you in a minute, David. I just want to thank you guys. You know, I think it's good that people know what the town and community actually does, the committee, you know, and what the officers and also the councillors. And we've been incredibly supportive to the retailers, and we've tried to do what we can. And I know there's a lot of stuff that probably Helen hasn't mentioned that people have done to help. You know, and it's something that we do take very seriously and that we do continue to do. And, you know, Helen and Nikki, they're out with the markets from 7 onwards, 7 in the morning, they're there, making sure people have got masks, making sure everyone's safe. So lots happening. Big thank you to you guys and to everyone really on this committee, because you know, we all work hard. We don't want to see any of our retailers. You know, it's been a tough time. It's been a really tough time. So thank you guys. Councillor Eggleton.
Yeah, just one of the things for Helen. Is the bus shelters got a work thing on for cleaning them, and is it signed into a contract still? And the other thing is, I'm quite happy to carry on helping out where I can on the markets, either on a weekend or on a weekday, on a Thursday, if I'm not working.
Yeah. Thank you, Dave. I mean, there are a lot of, we've had a lot of councillor support with this as well. The mayor was out with the town ranger, and Sarah's been out, and you know, you've all been around the town helping us. So thank you for that. The bus shelters does have a contract on it, and we have just gone out to some new suppliers to check on costs and quality, and we'll be bringing that back to this committee once we've done that piece of work. But yes, there is a current contract on them, but the incumbent would like to give up the contract, so we're looking for some new suppliers. So we've gone out for some quotes.
Thank you.
Councillor Hamilton, did you want to say something earlier?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Helen for a very full report, as it were, and to you know, all the hard work from her team and the team in the town hall and the markets, etc. I've been in touch with Nikki, obviously, but we all pop by the market and see how it's going on and making sure people are doing masks, etc., etc. Obviously, now that we've got a roadmap to coming out of lockdown, I just want to make sure that we're doing everything we can. And I know the mayor said last week that he can't do any more, but I think we can do more. And I think we specifically should be looking at an impact assessment of what it means for the regatta moving from its traditional date in July potentially to August, and what that would mean, because it's going to be, if it doesn't happen, and I really hope it does happen on the 9th of August, or whatever date it is in August, it will have a big impact on our hotels, our hospitality, our restaurants, if it moves back 2 months, or if it moves to Dorney. And I think what we should be doing is really looking at what impact that will have. It'll have an impact on the cricket club, for example, for their parking. It'll have an impact on the rugby club. It'll have an impact on the Lions. It'll have an impact on so many different organisations in the town. And we really must do everything we can to help in those areas. I'm pleased to see about having another retail forum, if we call it that, whatever we want to call it. That's good. If we can have a date for that, I think specifically we should try and get a couple of the hospitality traders there rather than just the shop owners, as it were, the shop retailers, just to get a feel for how stressed they are or how pressured.
Thank you, Councillor Hamilton. Yes, when we have these retailer forums, we do try and invite as many people. I know Helen does. It's not just the retailers. We try to invite the you know, the hospitalities. It's very difficult to get everybody around the table at the same time, but we do try, and obviously now we've got the roadmap, there's lots of things that we will be looking into. One thing I will say, that when, you know, somebody says I can do no more, it doesn't really mean I'm not going to do anything more. It's a turn of phrase, and it's and I know for a fact that our mayor will continue to do what he can when he can to help our retailers and help the town. So I think that's very unfair to just pick out that sentence and use it negatively. Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, I'd prefer actually if Councillor Hamilton came back, actually, because what I was going to say is obviously aimed at him, exactly what you've just said, Chairman. You know, when I'm asked questions at a full council meeting, I'm not answering those questions as HRG or Conservative. You know, I'm answering the questions on what I feel is best for the town council. And I really don't need to see this rubbish written on the Conservative website, which is obviously down to Councillor Hamilton. He obviously has a problem, because we used to have a problem like this as well.
Sorry, I was talking.
Right, I think, okay.
And he's obviously got a problem. He's obviously got a problem with text.
Sarah, I've only just come back on, so I don't know what was said. Where did I get to? I was speaking.
Well, we were just explaining the amount that the mayor does, and how unfortunate it was that a certain phrase was taken out of hand and used negatively in certain social media. But I want to move forward from that, because this isn't a slanging match. This is this is we've all had our say, and I would like to move on now.
Can I just ask for a point of order? Can I just ask for a point of order on it? Because what I can see here, and the public are watching this, and all we're doing is having digs at other things, and I don't want to be any part of this. If you're going to keep having a go at certain councillors, we should be debating what's on the actual on our agendas, and not having slagging matches on other councillors, and that includes anybody that's. This is not about debating other councillors. This is about debating what's in front of us. Can we stop this, please?
Absolutely right, Councillor Eggleton. So I think we should now move on, please.
So I've got one further point. I'm sorry, the Zoom went down, and I was halfway through my speech, and then I got stopped. So now continue, please.
You may continue, yeah.
Thank you. I got to the regatta and the impact assessment. I'm pleased to see that Helen started the work looking at the safe waste working group to see how the different retailers do their waste. So I think that's really important. The last thing I want to mention is the general cleanliness in terms of litter in the town. And I really think that we really want our tourism to come back strong, and we want people that come to the town for a staycation or whatever, see the town in an absolutely brilliant format. And what I would suggest on that is we launch a group called the Henley Wombles. And the Henley Wombles will basically go out with litter pickers. We'll get 30 of them. And they'll go out once a month, and they'll fill a bag of rubbish, and they'll dispose of that rubbish through their normal means. And what I'm suggesting is that these Wombles will actually get the town really, really clean. Not only will we have Wombles in the town, but we'll have water Wombles as well. And Leander has offered to do that, to clean up the river, because we've had a lot of flooding and a lot of waste. So what I'm suggesting is that if people would like to become a Womble, they either contact myself or Dave Eggleton or Naomi, and we will get a litter picker and some bags and some gloves, etc., to those people. And they'll go out on a monthly basis, they'll fill up a bag of rubbish, and they'll dispose of it. And that way, rather than having the grime and the rubbish around the town that people talk about or take pictures of or whatever, we can be positive and get the rubbish sorted out in the town.
Great, thank you very much, Councillor Hampton. We do, and we are actually arranging for rubbish collections. It's something that we are looking into, and absolutely, you know, you can head the Wombles, Councillor Hamilton. I think that's a very good idea. And yeah, let's get some Womble high vis suits, and we can all go around the town and absolutely.
And you wave at a Womble. There you go.
Absolutely.
Perhaps that might make Councillor Rowlett happier.
Absolutely. Okay, moving on to item 7 now, which is the communications manager report, which Naomi has submitted, and she's working very hard at the moment. I'm sure you've all read through it. She's the website is progressing. I'm really excited to see that up and running. I think it looks as if we're going to go live early March. Which will be good. You've probably noticed we've had some great social media out there about masks, about litter, about the RNA in the parks, and it's really good messages about safety coming from the town council. I don't know if there's anybody that wants to mention anything, or are we happy to move on? No? Okay. Very quiet lot tonight. Okay, item 8 is Henley in Bloom, and we're going to note the minutes. And I believe, Helen, we've got a verbal update from you on all that's happening in Henley in Bloom.
Thank you, Sarah. So we thought that we would, you would like to know what was going on with Henley in Bloom, because it's the first meeting where it's changed over, but the meeting was held on Friday, so the minutes only came out today. So just to run through them quickly, and they will be presented with the next papers. We are looking at a great deal of different projects. There's a meeting of Thames and Chiltern in Bloom on the 4th of March, where they're deciding exactly what their criteria are going to be for this year, because obviously with COVID, they're not going to do the full judging. So potentially they'll be doing projects, and they're asking for entries to do projects. But they, as I say, are still deciding on the criteria, and they won't be decided until next week. So we'll be working to make sure that we could try and put in a couple of the projects, because there's so much going on in Henley. And the great thing about Bloom is it's not just for the competition, it's about making Henley great all the time and doing everything that we can do to make Henley look as beautiful as possible. So just to run through some of the projects, the Seed Swap and Gardeners Get Together, which normally happens in March, in the first week of March, they're looking to see if they can do something online. And one of the ladies that runs, she's one of the ambassadors for Thames and Chiltern in Bloom. She managed to do a plant swap during the first lockdown. So they're going to work with her, hopefully, to see if there's some learning from that. We did talk about the Henley Spring Clean. So the Wombles and the pink fit beautifully with that. And rather than having one day where everyone rushes out and tidies the place up, it would be really good if we can have a campaign which we'll work with Naomi on. So it's a social media campaign, and it goes across the whole year. So it's about when you see a piece of litter, pick it up and take it home, put it in a bin. And Walkers Are Welcome are very keen to be involved with that as well. Chelsea Fringe, they're going to be online. Their event is in May. And the last conversation we had is that they're going to be creating a raft of different visual things online, which they did last year, which worked particularly well. And some of them went viral and went global. We're going to try to run a front garden competition, because then we don't need to get in people's back gardens. So it's much easier to judge. And we'll have judges who will travel around people who've entered their front gardens, and possible pubs and restaurants, but I don't think it's going to be top of their priority list at the moment. So we need to make a decision on whether we do that or not. Townlands Hospital, which is a Henley Society project, some replanting of some primroses, but we're just waiting for NHS property to replant some trees. There's a Simon Gale memorial bed, and Councillor Hinton is leading on that one. He was a very, very big supporter of Bloom, so this will be a lovely thing to do to recognise the help that he gave Bloom. We've also got great news on the Regatta Line Stations project, which means that we'll be putting lots of beautiful planters and making Henley Station look beautiful. So we're just double checking costs on that, and that will be one of the projects that moves forward quite quickly. We've also, we're looking at mapping the blooming diversity beds that we've got. So some of the flower beds or the banks up the sides of roads, which have been planted with wild seeds or with bulbs, so that if we have a utility company wanting to put a new gas main in or fix the water, that we can make sure that it's returned to its former glory once they've left. And also there's a suggestion that we put some of the flower projects on from Mill Meadows, and that we also make this a bee highway around the town. And the children can get involved with that as well, because we want to do some nice children's projects. Milton Close, some of the residents there want to do a project because they've got an issue with a roundabout. We are looking for volunteers to come on to our Schools in Bloom campaign. If anybody was interested in signing up to be on a little subcommittee to help with Schools in Bloom or young people or children, then please do let me know. And we talked a lot about trees. Trees in the SODC car parks, the trees that have disappeared along the OCC roads, fruit trees and Tesco's trees. And we're going to work with Greener Henley to make sure that we have a tree policy across the whole town, and that we are working in a collaborative way, and that we're not contradicting each other, so we can try and make the whole town wonderful. We also thanked Councillor Eggleton and the Parks team, who raised over £1,000 for Bloom by collecting up and shredding the Christmas trees, which was, I think the most that they'd made before this year was 300 and something. I can't remember the exact figure. So it was quadruple what they've made before. So so thank you so much to everybody, and the Parks boys and Dave, who all gave up their own time to do that. We're asking that all of the community projects across the town all kind of feed into Bloom, and that their projects are all documented and photographed, so that if we do next year enter, and if Thames and Chiltern have the competition again, as they have before, we can produce a portfolio with all of the projects in it, which just shows how collaboratively in Henley everybody does the most amazing things. And we also had a sponsorship meeting, and so we were just looking at what we have sponsored now, and we're going to pull together some spreadsheets to make sure that we've got a list of things that need to be sponsored, a list of people who want to sponsor things, and obviously we can match the two things together.
That's great. Thank you very much, Helen. Can I quickly ask, the Schools in Bloom, you say you want some volunteers. What will you want from the volunteers? What would they need to do?
So we're just looking, well, first of all, we'd like to work with the schools. We're looking for some ideas, and we're also looking for some people who are just happy to go and do something. So wormeries and vegetables, and if we can plant things in children's mind, excuse the pun, when they're little, about growing vegetables, or maybe putting tomato plants in hanging baskets, and just getting them outside. So lots of those kind of things, really fun things. But we need volunteers to help us, and we need people who are willing to do a little bit more of an organisation thing. So all sorts of people. And they can just contact you, can they, Helen? They can. Please do. Please do. Okay. Councillor Eggleton, then I'll come to you, Councillor Hamilton. You're on mute, Dave. That's it.
Yeah, all it is it can be any project really, whatever we whoever wants to get involved in that sort of stuff. It can be from growing sunflowers. With parks not last year, I forgot, I've lost track of time with all this COVID. The last time we done hanging baskets. So we anything that you could grow in a hanging basket. And the children of all the schools that we went to were so excited, and it was something that wasn't planted at school, so you could get away with, and a lot of them were more concerned about taking them home and looking after them. So you know, it's just seeing their faces and showing us around the schools, and they're getting so excited. And the thing is, it's teaching and showing them how to grow stuff, which is really good in children, and giving them some enthusiasm to do that. So that's basically all it entails, really, is just going around whatever project you want to do, whether it's planting in school or doing it in pots to take home, because obviously when they're closed, a lot of the stuff tends to die off. So it would be better if it was something that you could take home and look after and then bring it back. And what we done last time, which we judged the baskets and gave a prize for but it was a classroom event. It was not just an individual child, even though some of them wanted to do their own basket. So they're really enthusiastic about it. So it's whatever you want to do it, really, whatever you want to do, really.
Good idea. Thanks a lot, Dave. Will?
Yeah, could I just ask Helen or Dave, as chairman of Henley and Bloom, could you put a list together of things that can be sponsored? So I know some people like to sponsor a treat, that's great, but it'd be interesting to see a list of bigger items and smaller items, so that businesses that are having a successful time can see how they can help the community, and see how we can get this sponsorship going. Because I really do think sponsorship and volunteers is a really good way to which we can build our expertise, build the things we can do, whilst not impacting so much on our finances.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Work in progress, and I will circulate it once it's ready.
Okay, so we're all happy to note the minutes then for Henley and Bloom.
Yeah.
And move on now to item 9, which is the progress report, and that's on pages 14 to 16. I'll just run through it very quickly. Town centre signage. We had a meeting on the 29th, and we're gonna work on locations for signage. Actually, no, did we have a report for this, Helen? Sorry, have we got?
So what we're going to do is we're going to present a report, and it will be a presentation at the meeting on the 8th.
That's it. Yeah.
And there are 2 potential spots at the moment. One is at or near the train station, and the other is located at the bottom of the marketplace. So we're going to do some investigations into those 2 locations, plus supply a note which is about a signage policy, accessibility issues with DDA compliancy, and whether we should have braille, whether we should have sound, those kinds of things. And then obviously we'll need to look at budgets and whether we have any money to do anything. So it will be a presentation to look at the criteria to move then forwards into what we do.
Lovely, thank you, Helen. Councillor Eggleton.
Yeah, on the town, on the finger posts, I don't know where, on the finger posts that we've got, the green finger posts in the town, some of those things, I think some of them are obsolete now, and some of them are pointing in the wrong direction. But they I'd like to keep those type of things, because they give character to the town. It's just taking out which is not needed anymore, or whether they're facing in the wrong direction, putting them in the right direction so people don't get confused to where they're going. Also, the wall that we had done a long time ago, we had it rendered to have it painted, which was giving sort of an insight to where the town, what the town has to offer on the wall. I've seen some really nice artwork painting that could be done on that wall that gives an historic view of what's our key factors, our key assets to the town. They could be painted on that wall, and that would then bring people into the town from the river.
Oh, thank you. Oh, you mean the wall down at Mill Meadows?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Helen.
Can I just highlight that we did actually look, if you look at the first 3 points there, we highlighted what this group was actually doing, and we are just looking very specifically at town centre and visitor driven signage. The transport group and Stefan's group looks at highway signage, and R&A is actually responsible for that wall.
Yeah.
It's an R&A issue, not T&C. So we are specifically looking, because we don't have the budget to change all of our signage, and we've decided to keep the finger posts for now. We're just looking at enhancing the directional signage with information on those two particular spots that we discussed.
Thank you, Helen. Councillor Egerton.
Yeah, I'll take that back to R&A then for that wall, and with some pictures. Thank you.
Okay. New Street Slipway, waiting confirmation. SSE work complete, and this will be transferred again to R&A. So there's a lot of moving. Street lighting, which I believe Councillor Hillier brought up at a previous meeting. I know Helen or Nikki looked into this, and we have had some funding. Obviously, we don't have a budget for new lighting, so but if you read through it, it'll give you all the information you need. Brahma Way mural, it's still in planning. It'll stay on progress until we know a little bit about if there are any planning issues required.
Stay, doesn't it need planning permission?
Well, that's what we're looking into. I believe they need to SODC, I believe, wasn't it, Helen?
Yeah. So Philippa was looking into with CAP what needed to happen, and because we don't own the wall, it's owned by John Lewis, and I think the advice from CAP was that Philippa would need to get some advice from SODC planning about what would be required for it to be agreed, and obviously it also needs to have agreement from the landowner who the wall belongs to. So it's a real shame, actually, but slightly complicated because it's obviously not part of our portfolio.
Councillor Riceman.
Can we also please finally get the District Council to correct the spelling of Barama Way? I think it's been like that for 20 years now. And I think, if nothing else, it would be a tribute to Malcolm Page to finally get that correct.
We'll ask the question.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well said. Yeah, okay. Water fountains. We have just received a quotation from Angus at AF Jones for restoration. This is really just to clean it up, clean up the stone. This is not for it to be sort of turned back into a full flowing fountain. That will be something slightly different and probably a lot more expensive. But we do have a quote now, and I'm working alongside the Henley Society. We'll be talking to the Fillmore family soon, as we believe they may be able to. They may have a small pot of money that they could help us out with this, but we'll see. I should be able to report back at the next meeting. Councillor Egerton.
Yeah, because I just asked if there's anybody got any photographs, close-up photographs of the imaging, because some of the imaging is faded away, it's gone completely. So if there's any records or any stuff like that can give them the so when they're refurbishing it, it can be refurbished to its former glory. The other suggestion was, because it's on the side of a road, well, it's not far in, it was on a main road. I don't think it has been restored once before, but it's either a long time ago or it's eroding quite quickly. I think being on the side of a road, I think, couldn't we, because it's a very important thing of our heritage in Henley, is there any a way that we could have it moved down into the Jubilee, down to the river where the obelisk is, so we can have our because that was a road feature, the obelisk, which is down there now, and then have a plaque by it, and you know, there's actually where it can be protected or off the way from the road, and when it's restored, rather than being restored and then just corroding away again.
Thank you, Councillor. With regards to the images of the fountain, we E.F. Jones actually came and met up with me and Nikki and Jeff from the Henley Society. So he doesn't need any images, he's actually seen it. So, and E.F. Jones have done a lot of work. They know the Phillimore Fountain very well. So there's no problem with that. With regards to moving it, the Phillimore Fountain has got huge links to St Mary's Church. And I won't go through the whole history of it, but the location of it, I do believe needs to stay where it is because of its links with the church. And also, I would be more concerned that if it was moved, I think it needs to be in the town, you know, and I would be inclined to keep it where it is. But that is something we could discuss at a later date, I think. I think right now, let's get the quote in, let's see what can be done and how we can restore it as best we can.
It's just nice to see it being restored at long last.
Absolutely, I agree.
Don't forget the town hall's got some bits of it that I've taken up there over the years.
I know. It's taken a long time coming. I know you've wanted it restored, Dave, for a long time, and I mean, so many people have. So it's, you know, I think it would be nice to do something with it. It's a beautiful piece, and it is, you know, it's Henley heritage. But okay, moving on now to the last item, which is increasing commercial opportunities in the marketplace, which is something that was brought up before Christmas, and something that we are going to. We've got a meeting coming up in March, where we're just going to again thrash this out a bit, see if anything can be done, and again this will be reported back hopefully at the next meeting, and that is it. Does anybody have any questions on that? This is about the road closure, or potentially closing the road perhaps once a month, but you know, we've got a lot of work to do on this. So and also we will be contacting all the retailers to get their feedback. So it's not done and dusted. Councillor Hamilton.
Yeah, the feedback so far on that is that the retailers weren't supportive. I think it's important to mention that, but I know there's a long way to go on it, but
yeah, there is. I've also had quite a lot of correspondence from retailers to say they are in support of it. People have changed their minds a bit, and I think now that, you know, this COVID, we've got a roadmap. It's not going to disappear. You know, COVID, it's always going to be here, and I think to help our markets continue, I think it would be nice for them to be more spread out. But let's see what happens. There's lots to do. Councillor Reisman.
I agree that it's obvious, listening to this meeting as it's gone on, that there's a huge number of initiatives that have both taken place and are being considered in order to support the town in these challenging times. And the whole town is pulling together, as the country and the world is in many ways, to look at you know, meeting those challenges and making sure that the viability, the attractiveness and so on of the town and the success of the town is continues. And we didn't get to be second nationally by accident. We got it through hard work. We got it through meeting and talking with people. We got it through thinking creatively, and we got it through investing money. And we've been doing that throughout for years and years, not just as a result of the pandemic, but the pandemic has resulted in us having to focus even more clearly on that. And it's very uplifting to hear all the reports from the officers and the chairs on those activities. And I hope that anyone who's watching can believe and tell the town that, yes, we are looking after the town, we are being positive, and there's plenty to be positive about. We are doing everything we can to make sure that the town continues to be successful. And it is a great shame that one councillor seems to delight in talking Henley down, and being negative, unhelpful, and being unconstructive.
I've always been positive about Henley.
And also interrupting me when I'm trying to speak. And it's a shame that that happens. And I think there's no need to talk down Henley. It's unnecessary and it's undesirable. And I think we should, I've come away from this meeting uplifted and positive. And I think this last item on the progress report is a summary of, we're looking at all ideas, we're considering all options, and what is possible we will do and we will carry out.
Yeah, well said.
Thank you very much, Councillor Reisman. I think on that note, Councillor Hamilton, I think we're going to leave now. I think I'd like to thank you all very much for attending, and have a lovely evening. And I think...
Yeah, thanks, Chairman.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.